And we are live. So I am really excited to be here. So welcome everybody. We have about 50 people on Zoom right now on this live stream on YouTube. This is the Teens in AI NHS Tavistock Pitch Fest, which we've been organising for weeks and we've been looking forward to since the summer, since the first hackathon this summer. How amazing to have about 40 young people who've been working on their AI projects for weeks and weeks and weeks, and now they're beginning to present them to people working in the NHS, in mental health care, commissioning, and in ethics. This is a great event. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm really excited to be hosting. I'm going to introduce you to our leads today, who is Paul Jenkins, the CEO of the Tavistock and Portman NHS Foundation Trust, and Enola Senor, CEO of Teens in AI and Acorn Aspirations. It's a great partnership. It's great to bring these two organizations together, and it's great to have all these other people who are involved supporting us. This is truly fantastic event. Eleanor, do you want to say something about how this started and what we've been doing? And then we'll ask Paul to talk about his involvement as well.
Absolutely. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. So everyone, welcome, and such a real pleasure to host this event today. So my name is Elena Sinel. Those of you who don't know me, I am the founder of Teens in AI. I founded Teens in AI back in 2018 at the United Nations AI for Good Global Summit. And the mission has always been to really democratize the space of AI and offer opportunities for diverse thinkers and doers to explore AI as a technology and really use AI and data science for impact. And so I have embarked on this crazy mission as a frustrated parent, because I thought my daughter wasn't really learning the kind of skills that I felt would be needed in the industry. And I started running my hackathons 5 years ago, and just in 2017, 2018, pivoted into AI. The very first hackathon that I ran in artificial intelligence for teenagers was in 2017, and that was in mental health for young people. So it is a very interesting coincidence that today, 3 years later, almost 4 years later, we're back to trying to tackle mental health. And no matter how many hackathons I've ran, and we've already ran more than 30 hackathons across the globe, we've engaged over 6,000 young people in all sorts of parts of the world, as far as Fiji and Kazakhstan and India and Africa. Whenever I introduce a challenge, even if it is unrelated to mental health and it's just called health and well-being, for young people tackling this challenge for some really interesting reason and odd reason, maybe it's always about mental health. And it doesn't matter whether I'm doing this hackathon with children in Brunei or whether it's a hackathon with children in Africa. The moment I mention health and well-being for young people, it's first and foremost mental health. So I don't know whether this is something sad or something that we should be paying attention to as well. But I know that this is a topic that young people are concerned about, and they really are interested in tackling for so many different reasons. So to give you an example, when we ran our AI Accelerator program, this is when the partnership with Tavistock started, and Emilius just approached me on LinkedIn and told me that he heard teenagers speak about AI and AI ethics at CogX, and could we do something together? Obviously, my response was yes, but I didn't know what will really happen at the accelerator, because we never know. We introduce the challenges, and then we hope that this challenge will be tackled by some team. And to my surprise, and Emilius was also quite surprised when we found out of 11 teams, 6 or even 7 teams really wanted to tackle mental health from so many different angles. When I ran a hackathon in Brunei, we've just launched in Southeast Asia. Mental health is a taboo topic in Brunei. And yet we did go with health and well-being. Teenagers in Brunei wanted to really explore mental health. And out of, again, 10 or 12 teams, there were 4 or 5 that wanted to tackle mental health. The latest hackathon, Ada Lovelace Hackathon, where we had 130 teenagers from across the globe tackling so many different challenges, from health and well-being to education to climate change to diversity. I mean, there was quite an array of challenges. Out of 23 teams, 12 teams wanted to focus on mental health, and some of them are here today. So it's kind of concerning. At the same time, it could be something exciting for Tavistock and Portman, because I know this is a challenge they have been looking into. How can we engage young people to tackle this issue from a young person's perspective in a very innovative way, using cutting-edge technology like AI, data science, and whatnot. So this is a very exciting project. I really didn't know what would happen in the summer when Emilius just came to ask me, would you work with us? Shall we do something together? Obviously, I always say yes to anything related to NHS, because I was actually surprised that I would have this opportunity to work with NHS ever, because I know NHS has the reputation of very difficult, massive organization. You never know who to talk to. So when somebody approaches you, I said, yes, of course I will do this. And I was really also interested in the aspect of NHS, Tavistock and Portman and Tavistock and Portman Trust, referring teenagers to us. So they were the clients of the trust. They came from camps, and that aspect also really interested me, because we always try to reach neurodiverse young people, young people who might be struggling with something. And I always wanted to encourage and engage young people from neurodiverse backgrounds into my hackathons, because I know they're incredibly special. And we've had engagements with young children who have autism or Asperger's or ADHD, and they've always been really great to work with. So we've received some really positive feedback from parents who told me, usually my son's bullied in school, but this time it was a really great opportunity for him to be heard. His voice was valued. And that is another really great aspect of this program. So I don't know where this partnership will lead. I can definitely say that I would definitely love to explore a partnership and work together in the future, because we do have a lot of teenagers with some great potential from UK and from other parts of the world who are ready and willing to tackle some really, really pressing problems and challenges that we're all facing in this world. So on this note, I would like to now pass it over to Paul. Paul, I know you have been part of our judging panel in the summer. You've heard, 11 teams, and 4 or 5 of them were tackling mental health. We have a few, I think 3 teams from the Accelerator presenting today. The rest of them are from the Ada Lovelace Hack. Tell us your thoughts, and in general, your views. And Paul, over to you.
Thanks, Eleanor, and a big welcome from me. So I'm Paul Jenkins, the Chief Executive of Tavistock and Portman Trust, and really like to say a very big welcome both to the teams taking part tonight and the young people who are part of them, and brilliant to have teams from all over the world tackling this issue. Really great to be working with you again, Eleanor, and colleagues from teams in AI. I really enjoyed the event in August that we had around the Accelerator program, and I'm really looking forward to a lot more of that good stuff tonight. Really great to have some excellent judges tonight, and people who represent different expertise, both around mental health and also about technology. And finally, great to see so many people on a Friday night come together, both as stakeholders and guests, to enjoy tonight's proceedings. So as you touched on, Ellen, I was conscious actually, we're going to say very much the same thing, but from probably different ends of the telescope. So I think what's really exciting about this space is there is no doubt mental health and well-being are a defining issue for young people, for teenagers, and a set of issues that really, are impacting very significantly on people, and it's perhaps particularly worth noting that at the moment during the pandemic and the impact of lockdown, which has had a big toll, I think, on the well-being of a lot of young people for all sorts of reasons that we've seen. But secondly, it's a set of issues not as well impacting in young people of this generation. It's also something they're talking about, that they're interested in, something that they want to work together to actually both make a much more serious and significant issue in the public priorities, but also work together themselves to do something about. And then secondly, and there is no doubt that in all its manifestations, AI technology is going to be something that transforms all of our lives, and particularly going to transform the lives of people who are emerging into the world at this time. And an awful lot of potential, an awful lot of issues to explore and understand there. So there's something really, I think, really exciting about bringing these two themes together in tonight's Pitch Fest. And I think there's sort of something very special about the combination of the two. One, it's really interesting, you said, how persistent mental health has been as a theme in all the different events that you've done. But I think there's also something special about what it might offer to young people as a way of helping support their mental health. One of which, it's a way of opening up greater capacity for supporting young people. We are, I'm pleased to say, investing more in mental health services in this country and expanding what is available, but that is not anything like yet adequate to meet the level of need or presentations that there are. So AI could be a really powerful way of increasing capacity for support. But secondly, beyond that, I think it's a different type of support. So I think the fact that AI is about supporting the individual, is about supporting self-care, is about supporting agency in how people themselves understand their mental health, understand their well-being, and take action to support it, whether to seek help or whether actions that help manage it themselves. And thirdly, there's opportunities to bring in innovation, but also maybe not quite the sort of dry, serious version of traditional clinical services, maybe to inject some humor, some fun, some exploration as part of those journeys around better mental health. So I know, because in a way I had the pleasure of being involved in August around 3 of the present, you are in for some real treats tonight. Certainly if the standard is anything like what it was in August, I think we will be seeing some really exciting and powerful pieces of work. And so tonight is really an opportunity for people to, I think in the best sense of the word, show off what they've done, both in terms of understanding the problems they're trying to address, but also their understanding of how they've used technology and tools to try and create something that will support their peers. And I think it's great to have an opportunity where those teams can get some feedback and encouragement from our impressive team of panelists and judges. So, and then I think it's one of those evenings where, let's see where we get to and see what might come out of tonight, both with any of the individual products and schemes that people have developed, but also in terms of what this might do for all of us in opening our minds to thinking what might happen in the space around AI and mental health. And it's always good to add a word to your vocabulary, and I think Pitch Fest is a really excellent addition, much better than some of the other ones we've had to learn during 2020. So without further ado, I'll hand back to Emilios, and I really hope people enjoy this evening's presentations.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Paul and Elena. That's been fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. It was so astounding to see so many young people really driven by the idea of having the opportunity to do something about mental health and mental well-being. They were so attracted to this that they took part, and they've been working on it for so long that they're here today to present. And absolutely, Paul, I think AI is a thing that is actually engaging young people around the conversation about mental health. And I think if we can capture these things, this drive and this interest through digital, through AI, that will be fantastic. And if we can keep that going, that will be great. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is introduce our panelists, and then I'm going to ask Freddie Peel from our business development team to set some of the context of how we got into this in the first place and what we've been doing at the Tavistock as part of the North Central London partnership. So let me introduce our panelists first. We've got an amazing group of people that have been fantastic in being able to devote their time to tonight and to help us think about this work that the young people are doing. So I'm going to introduce the group, and then I'm going to ask you each to speak about yourselves for a few moments. So we've got Peju Oshisanya from Benevolent AI tonight. Thank you, Peju, for coming. We've got Eamon Devlin from the North London Commissioning Group. We've got Fatima Ahmed from Orca, that's the organisation that tests apps for safety. We've got Alex Goforth from NHS England, and we've got Rebecca Machalati from the Peter Jones Foundation. So thank you all of those people for joining us. We've also got Rubens Filio from Abracademy, who's going to be our special guest, and I'll let him introduce himself a bit later on this evening. But if we can go to Peju to say a few words about herself, and then I'll run through the others. Peju.
Thank you, and I'm very excited to be here today. I'm Peju Oshisanya. I'm a clinical research scientist at Benevolent AI, where I run clinical trials to support their clinical programs. But I describe myself as an AI ethics and data diversity advocate. And basically what that means is I see it as my job to ask questions about AI and AI products. My personal ambition is to make sure that no one is left behind in terms of reaping the rewards and benefits of AI developed tools. So today, what I'm looking for is consideration for diverse population, diverse consideration, diverse thinking in the development of your product. And I am very, very excited to learn more. So thank you.
Wow, wonderful. Thanks for coming, Peju. That's brilliant. That's fantastic. Excellent, excellent. It's really good to have you, and really good to be connected with you and Benevolent AI and the whole thinking around ethics in digital, which is the underpinning of all the products that the young people have designed. And it'd be great to hear how they've been thinking about it. Excellent. So the next person is Eamon Devlin. Can you say a few words about yourself?
Hi folks, I'm Eamon Devlin. I'm project manager for Children's Mental Health Commissioning in North Central London CCG. So we commission and develop services for children's wellbeing and mental health. I'm really passionate about this area because I want us to look at how the internet technology impacts our life and not just be a passive recipient, but actually to make it something we're actively working in to support emotional well-being. And that's me.
Excellent. So for the young people, Eamon is one of the people that is making decisions today about mental health digital products in North London. So just bear that in mind when you're pitching. Brilliant. It's great to have you tonight, Eamon. And the next person, Fatima Ahmed from Orca.
Hi everyone, I'm Fatima. I'm a medical doctor by background, and I'm also a clinical lead at Orca, which is the organisation for the review of care and health apps. The company is one of the biggest companies that has the biggest set of app libraries out there in the world. And what we do is we really review the applications and make sure that they pass all these different tests so that we can then recommend them to clinicians so they can prescribe them safely to patients. Because at the moment, the market's really unregulated when it comes to digital health. And we really want to drive uptake of digital health, not for the sake of digital, but for the sake of actually making a difference and making a change to patients' lives, and widening access to patients as well who don't have easy access to clinicians. So that's my role. I'm super excited to hear from you guys. I was really looking forward to today. I can't wait to hear from all the young people that have come up with creative digital mental health solutions in this space, and I'm really thrilled to be part of it. And thank you for Emilius for inviting me to be part of it today.
Thank you, Fatima. That's fantastic. It's brilliant to have you and the Orca vision and that kind of safety net around digital and the design of the things that we're creating, because ultimately it's in healthcare, it's a healthcare space, and we need these things to be safe, and we need trust in the products that we're using. Trust is absolutely fundamental, and the young people need to be able to play safely, and we need to create an environment so that they can play and create these new ideas in a safe environment. That's fantastic. Okay, brilliant. We've got Alex Goforth next from NHSE.
Hi, my name's Alex Goforth. I work in the Children and Young People's Mental Health team at NHS England. We essentially develop policy and implementation and procedural guidance to transform and improve children and young people's mental health services across the entire country. I was asked to kind of say something about what I was hoping to get from some of the kind of products being presented here. And I really want to see something that changes people's lives, has the potential to do that. I'm particularly interested in things that will join the dots between the kind of myriad agencies that work across the children and young people's mental health sector, particularly in this country. It's very complicated and often there's fragmentation. We need to kind of solve that. But I think most importantly for me, I want to see some of the kind of innovation that I love in the kind of tech that I use on a daily basis that makes life so much more streamlined, kind of introduced into the children and young people's mental health space without all the exploitation, the kind of the transactional quality that we have to accept to use great tech typically. I'm really excited to see what you have to show us.
Brilliant. Thank you, Alex. Absolutely. I mean, so many apps are created in a big money way at the moment that they detract from the kind of the safety and the ethical and the data safety side of things. And it was a conversation we were just having today about some of the ways that we're developing the systems that we're working in. And I think that's fundamentally important. Just one more thing about Alex that needs to be said. Alex developed the first young people's coding hackathon several years ago when he was working at Anna Freud, and that really inspired me and some other people on this call. So thanks a lot, Alex, and it's great to have that experience on the panel tonight. The last person, Rebecca Machalati, thank you for coming from the Peter Jones Foundation. And just to let young people know, Peter Jones is one of the dragons in Dragon's Den. He's the tall guy that sits at the end and cracks the jokes. He's an inspiration to any budding entrepreneur, and it's great to have a representative from his foundation here tonight. Rebecca, let's hear from you.
Wonderful, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca and I am from the Peter Jones Foundation, which is an education charity focused on enterprise and entrepreneurship, and it's about giving young people those skills through a range of our educational programs. So I fundraise for the organisation as well as work with our external partners who want to invest in young people and really give them the opportunities of enterprise and entrepreneurship. I'm also very lucky in my role that I get to see these brilliant young people and their ideas and sharing them with wider audiences, and them really trying to convince people to support them and get behind them. So I'm really excited about seeing the young people today. And I guess what I really look for is someone's passion behind their idea. That's something that they really believe in, because if they believe in it, that kind of gets me believing in it and excited about it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to be presented. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Brilliant. It's really good to have you here in that thinking. Yeah, and that passion is really important to help drive these innovators and entrepreneurs through the hard slog. It's a hard slog. Some of them have been through that hard slog. It might get harder, but that passion is really absolutely key. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And at this point, I'm actually going to bring Rubens in because I think he needs to come in right now, and just let's get an introduction from Rubens, because we've been working with Rubens for many years now, and Rubens is from Abracademy. And Rubens, you say something, please.
Yes, hello everyone. So my name is Rubens. I'm the founder of Abracademy, and Abracademy uses magic in creative and innovative ways in order to unlock people's potential. So we've been 5 years doing lots of things with magic, including working with Gloucester House, the daycare unit, Tavistock Portman, working with young people so they can create a sense of belonging, they can find their confidence, they can bring their attention to one thing. So it's been a privilege to spread some magic, and today I'm going to do a little bit of magic a little bit later for you all.
Fantastic. Yeah, and that work we did at Gloucester House was fantastic, Rubens, really groundbreaking at the time, and it's great to see that Abracademy has continued and is providing magic to many different organizations. You were just telling me last night, some of the world's biggest well-known organizations are asking Rubens to come in and help inspire the teams at the top of the organization through magic, and the way that magic can help us think creatively and innovatively. That's absolutely amazing. Right, okay, wow. Okay, so we've done all that bit, and I think we're now going to move to Freddie Peel, my partner working on the North Central London website project. Freddie, over to you, mate.
Hello, everyone. It's really lovely to be here and to have tracked this journey with Teens and AI through from the summer. So I'm really looking forward to this. My name is Freddie Peel. I'm the Senior Strategy and Transformation Manager at the Tavistock Centre. On paper, my boss would say my job is to run projects, but I like to think that really my role is to improve our offer, our services, through embracing new things. And that's why I'm really looking forward to this evening. I'll keep it brief because I want to actually hear from all of you at some point in my talk. And really, I was thinking earlier, what am I here for? And I think I've got a bit of a sort of selfish sandwich. So at first, I'm here to be inspired by you all, because I was so inspired to see the presentations from the Summer's Pitch Fest, and I've been talking about it ever since. But then I'm also here to plant a seed in your mind, because I think we may have an opportunity to work together in the future. And so I just want to plant that seed in your mind. And lastly, I want to run something by you and pick your brains, because I know you all are a bright bunch. So that's what I'm here for. Let me see if I can share this screen. Can everyone see that first slide?
Yes.
So this first project, the project that I'm here to talk about this evening, has the catchy name, the NCL CAMS website project. And hopefully that won't be its name for much longer, and maybe you can help out with that. To talk about the project a little bit, well, why was it needed in the first place? About a year ago, our colleagues at the Centre of the Health System at NHS England were looking at how to improve the experience of waiting for services, particularly child and adolescent mental health services. They looked at the patient journey, they mapped pain points, and they were really interested in that pre-treatment period. And it was deemed that an online or digital resource would be a good place to make an impact. The problem we had was our only young person facing websites really were aging and needed modernizing and improving. They looked like this. They tried to convey some information, and we think they did a good job, but we weren't really sure. They, as you can see, they sort of tried to come at the same sets of information in different ways, but we really didn't know if it was meeting anyone's needs. And we were really proud of what we created before, and we think we learned through the process, but ultimately we needed to step it all up. So apologies to anyone who's involved in making CAMSDEN, but it's got to go. So we set out to achieve it's some simple things, really. We wanted to provide families with tailored support from day one. The app stores now have literally thousands of genuinely useful devices, tools, but the range can be daunting. And so we wanted to make that decision-making easier for people. We needed a platform that would help us continually learn and improve. As I said, we weren't sure which aspects of our previous sites actually provided value or were beneficial to people. And we didn't want to end up in a position where we weren't sure again. So we wanted to build something where we could learn. Through not only recommending things to people, but also listening to feedback and building that feedback into how we then present the next set of solutions. And that's why I was so inspired to see all of the work you were doing with AI. And lastly, we wanted to take the opportunity to really try something new and not just assume that what we'd done before was the right way to go. And that's very much where you all come in. So I'd like to take the opportunity to give you a little sneak peek at what we're currently working on. Only a tiny handful of people have seen this so far. So if I can, please get a drum roll. Emilios, if you could cue up the sound effect. Thank you. And here's what we've got so far. Now, I appreciate this isn't the most beautiful thing, but I know you all have vivid imaginations, and I know that you're not afraid of a wireframe. So this is where we're at. This is where we're up to at the moment with one page of our tool. And essentially, what I want to plant in your mind is that, much like the App Store, there is a parity between what is being offered, whether it's the CBT service that you're waiting for from a professional's referral, or some online self-help or community activities that you can engage with. We want to present them on par and give people a choice. And it's in this sort of space that I wonder whether the products that you're all developing could find a home, could find an audience, could find the attention that it may otherwise struggle to get if it was buried in the App Store. So to drill down, I want you to imagine that this is an example of the service that you might be waiting for, but I want to plant the seed that this could be your app, your product, that people are looking at, considering, digesting the options. What would it mean to use this thing? What have previous users fed back about it? This is sort of, it would just be amazing if we could get an audience to trial your products and get them to the next level. So I wanted to plant that seed. But while I've also got you, I want to do the last bit of selfishness, and that's see if I can pick your brain. So for all of you who are able, I'd like you to follow this link to menti.com. Menti.com, for those of you that haven't used it before, Mentimeter is it's a means of voting on the screen and for harnessing ideas. So I would like you to follow that. And could somebody post it in a chat somewhere, because I need to jump over to Menti so you can all see the results. But Menti.com, and use the code 1333841. Because we're stuck. We've got the ball rolling, and we are rapidly getting to the point where we need to do some design and branding, but we need a name. And we couldn't think of one earlier. We've got some ideas, but we need your help. So I'm going to jump over to Menti. Menti.com 1333841. Oops, and here's where we are. So, okay, right, I've never used this before, but I can see people are in. That's great. You move that in case you need it. So just as a quick reminder, our platform that we are looking to develop is both for young people and their carers. So it can't be pitched at too young an age, but similarly, it's not an adult's platform. It's the first support that we'll offer while our families wait for services. It's designed to empower young people to make their own decisions in their own care. It's a tool to set and track goals and show progress over time. And while it's initially focused on that waiting period, we hope that it will be accessible from referral through to final appointment. So just to frame what we're doing with the product. And so here are our initial ideas. And I want you to vote on whichever names you think might fit with what it is we're trying to do. And you can select as many as you like. So please, anyone who's in Menti. Oh, okay, good start. We're away. Well, this is good, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to give everyone a few more seconds because I can still see them coming in. Wow. $28. Okay, I want to hit 30. Give me a couple more. Who's got them? You can vote for as many as you think sound good, whatever you think fits with that description of the tool that I just gave.
Whoa.
How useful was that?
That was brilliant.
Okay. Oh, I can see they're still coming in. That's really good. And I'm going to bank the results. I'm actually just going to waffle for a couple more seconds so that they can keep coming in. This is the best engagement we've done on this. I'm so glad we decided to do it. But those were our ideas. So thank you for that. But now I'd like you to wipe those from your mind, cast your mind back to what it is we're trying to achieve. And this time, I want you to progress. How do I do it? I want you to come up with your own ideas and see if there was a word that we hadn't thought of or a name that we hadn't thought of. And my understanding is that you've got now options on your page to type that in. So who's going to be bold and put the first one? Okay, keep them coming. So word association, what comes to mind? It's for North London children while they're waiting, young people and their families. So it's to support shared decision making, empowering young people to take care of themselves while they wait and throughout their treatment journey. This is so good.
Wow. Freddie, this is brilliant. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
Journey. Wow. Weighty. Someone said weighty. That looked cool. We move. W8. Breather. Love yourself the right way. Empower. Response. I mean, this combination of words that people are bringing together is so great, and it's good that we can see them and the strongest ones as well.
Amazing. Whoever's idea this was, I owe you one, because this has kicked us forward several weeks in terms of branding, and
Breather.
This will definitely inform our choices from here on. Arms open.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Okay.
I could happily let this run all night, but I'm selfishly gonna want to. But Emilios, feel free to kick me off this as soon as you need to get back on schedule. But I can see they're still coming in. Go on, let's hit 100.
Okay. What we've got numbers coming through.
We've got 96.
96.
Excellent.
Right, we hit 100. Let's move on.
Thanks, guys. That's it from me.
Excellent.
Look forward to it. Thank you all.
Thanks, Freddie. Do you want to unshare this? Brilliant. Thanks. So it's been absolute pleasure working with Freddie and being able to bring some of these new ideas and technologies into our thinking. He showed you the website that we did was about 10 years ago, Cam's Day. And I'm not sure we want to get rid of all of that completely because it was such an amazing project. And what was so great about it was that we worked really closely with so many different young people and schools in particular. That was fantastic. So now we've got to the point where it's your turn. It's the young people that are going to be presenting. Freddie's had his pitch. It's your turn to pitch. Ta-da! Hurrah! So are you guys ready? Are you ready? Do you think they're ready, Eleanor?
They always are.
That's brilliant.
The question you want to ask them, they always are ready.
Always ready to pitch. Excellent. So the first team we have up is Mood Up. And Mood Up is the first team, partly because of where they live. And the majority of the team are over in Pakistan, India, and Kazakhstan. So I am really glad that you guys are here. I am glad that our internet connection's working strong enough to be able to communicate and have this experience together. Guys, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm just going to share my screen.
Brilliant. Okay, so you've got 4 minutes.
Can we see my screen? Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can start, right? So hi, it's Team Adapt here. We are a group of 4 teenagers, mostly from South Asia, but also Central Asia. And we had never met each other before the ADL hackathon. So our focus was, it is obviously mental health, but what drove us to actually researching that topic is that each of us has experienced problems with detecting like the specific impact of events, people, and places around us on our mental health in the past. And that's why we want to help teenagers just like us. So the analysis of a survey of 170 responses shows that not being able to track that influence really correlates with such serious factors as being in abusive relationships or having self-destructive thoughts. So that problem actually needs a very urgent solution right now because it leads to mood swings in teenagers, to unawareness about your own emotions, and it is exacerbated by the current COVID situation.
Our solution is MoodUp, an application that helps teenagers to gain insights about the influence of different factors on what they feel through journaling. Keeping accessibility in mind, users will be guided through each and every step they take. The user will first be asked to rate their day and log in their mood, so that, to be more precise, they will choose another mode so that they can get detailed statistics to organize their thoughts. With the help of AI, we will analyze the notes added by the user, and the user will be given results that identify the influence of certain individual events and locations on their mood. Users will also be able to rate their sleep and set goals. Personalized advice will be generated for each user to get a better understanding of their mental health. Based on keyword selection, we will also refer resources for the user.
So the backend of the algorithm, the core of our application is here. So the users take notes and choose their mood of the day. And the algorithm based on, initially it was based on Spacey, but now we're considering different options from libraries. We don't know which one fits the best yet. So those libraries process those words, classify them into categories such as people, events, or places, assign them some weights to process them, and they give you personalized advice on their exact influence on your emotions, as you can see on the right side of the screen.
We have a lot of competitors, but what makes us unique is that we are using NLP to analyze your writing and give you personalized advice. And the survey shows that more than 70% of the target audience are willing to use such an application. Our AI's algorithms backend engine will have manual and auto training, so we decrease the risk of mistakes.
Our business model revolves around MoodUp Premium. Our key partners are health professional, consultancies, and investors. Our target market is made up of teams of all of the ages. With 24/7 customer support and special offers, we will be building lasting support, customer relations, etc. The spreading channels are Google Ads, social media, and other platforms. Our cost structure will include wages, software, advertisement, which will be covered by revenue streams such as premium subscription, one ad per visit system, commission, partner referrals. That's it.
We've come up with 4 policies on every stage of user experience to prevent ethical implications. Authentication, proving the identity of a user using MoodUp with password and automated logout. Anonymity, and empathetic word choice when giving personalized advice. Our ethics mentor at the Quantum Black Hackathon told us something which we are definitely going to work on. Just because spending time with a person correlates with experiencing negative feelings doesn't mean the correct advice is to spend less time with them. In these cases, you can try to understand the situation better by getting more data. He also told us, word the recommendations in a non-casual way. You can remark on the observations, but not make the assumptions that spending time with X makes you feel bad. We will definitely work on these things in the future because they are very important.
So those were the parts that we did for the hackathon itself. And what was the progress since then? Firstly, our mentors at the Quantum Black Experience Day have suggested us to first implement our idea as a web application to see just how it works and to show to potential users and customers for feedback, because developing a web app will be much faster and will give us a working prototype, which we can later scale to mobile devices.
We have also created a website that illustrates our app idea and will be used to get feedback on the whole process, who we are and what we have done so far, so users can reach out to us. We also have a Gmail account to connect with our potential customers and future investors.
With our solution, we plan to help a large number of teens around the globe to be more aware of the factors that are influencing them and their mental state in these challenging times. With the help of the NHS, Tavistock, and any potential partners and our investors, we hope to make this idea a reality that can help many teens around the world.
So thank you. We're happy to answer any questions that you have. We hope that you have some, and we're happy to answer them.
Fantastic, MoodUp. That's a fantastic presentation. Thank you for that. I really like the mood planning and the diary and the link to the AI, the business case and the ethical arguments there. I think that's fantastic. I'm going to put it out to the panel judges now. So panel judges, who's got a question?
Hi, everyone. Please go ahead.
Peju.
Oh, okay. So well done, guys. Really great presentation. I really had to concentrate because you were speeding through it. You know, that demonstrates to me that you know that the detail back to front. I love the ambition, right? So you're not only looking at your local region to impact, you're looking on a global scale. So that's fantastic. And the material you've presented is clear and crisp and quite engaging. So that's very, exciting as well. So one question I have for you is that because you are thinking to impact teenage lives globally, and we know that triggers for mental health can be different depending on which region of the world you're in and the societal pressures you have. How have you taken that kind of consideration into training the models, for instance, for your AI or the technology to make sure that when your product is out there, it will be as useful as, you know, for somebody in Pakistan as it is in Nigeria, as it is in Chicago?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question.
So I guess I'll answer that. So at the Quantum Black Hackathon, when the ethics mentor came to check up on us, and we didn't even think of that, and then he just suddenly brought up that question: what about people who have disabilities? What about people who live in countries where mental health is a taboo? So it brought up the question in our mind. And so this was one of the many things we discussed, especially about we cannot keep any biases about people. So we think that he advised many things, like such as going out and, as our form in our website that we hope to create with our web application, or even our Wix website that we have created, we hope to create a form where everybody will contribute. And hopefully from everybody's contribution, we hope to make something that can be used worldwide. And definitely we will stress on the fact that auto and manual training. So I think with all of those combining forces, we will hope to go through the biases that can happen globally.
I can answer this question from a bit more technical side. I think we'll definitely need different models for different markets. I don't mean business models, but training models and algorithms. Firstly, in terms of language, that's why I'm considering different libraries, because Spacey is great, it's easy to use, but it's kind of limited. And one of the most embarrassing features of it was that it's really good in recognizing English names, Indian names, Pakistani names, but like Kazakhstani names, it just doesn't know them. It marks them as organizations or places or whatever. So we need to like
broaden that.
Yeah, to broaden our algorithms to be more inclusive in terms of, well, even such simple things as names and the origins.
Brilliant. Excellent. It's really great that you've been thinking about that and consider those questions, because I know Peju is really looking at those issues in upcoming technologies and the work that she's doing. And if it's going to have that global reach, it's got to be able to do those things. Absolutely. Can we move to the next question? Who have we got? Another panelist question? There was someone else?
Question.
Rebecca.
Hello again. It was really great. It's really great to see such innovation. So well done. You mentioned about some of the challenges that you've identified, and I'd just like to hear a little more, maybe one or two of those challenges and how you plan to overcome them.
Yeah, okay, I have a list of them. It's so long, I can't list all of them right now, but the most important ones are that the first one is that it was like the challenge that has haunted us from the start. It's that we don't have a tech person in the team. Just like no one is from a team is from the tech background, so we just learned everything from, well, not from scratch, but something close to it. So we really need to not to do something, but first learn to do something with code and things like that. The second one is the actual methods that we are going to use to give personalized advice to people, starting from the word choice, which should be appropriate. Here we plan to consult maybe school psychologists or people who are used to working with teenagers, like how to talk to them in a proper manner, which is engaging but not like too personal. And the last but not least problem is from the business side. Like we're from 3 different countries, we need to start from some market. We don't know which one yet. It's probably going to be like I'd suggest English-speaking countries because of the technical limitation, because most of NLP libraries are just tailored for English, and for other languages you need to like additionally train them to recognize things and work fine. So we'll start with that, but like I'm considering to add maybe Russian, my language, and maybe languages of my teammates as well, if we find some technical capabilities for that.
Armand, wonderful. I'm going to come in there because of time. Eamon had his hand up as well for a question.
Hi guys, thank you for that. Yeah, I just wanted to ask about where you referenced special offers and transactional sort of commercial elements. I guess I was a bit disappointed to see that, given this is a well-being tool, and I just think it's something we see everywhere on the internet, and it's a little bit off-putting. So I just wondered what you thought about my feedback on that.
Okay, can I answer this question first. So we have discussed that with our mentors at the ATO hack, and our first proposal was to make it like commerce free and just leave ads or on partnerships with organizations. But what our mentor has convinced us in is that such a model is not sustainable, and we need like less ads, less such things, but more like subscription things where people can extend their apps abilities by paying more. But like it's still a very debatable topic. I see where like you're coming from, and I completely understand your disappointment.
Yeah, more than half of our team didn't want to do this, but it's like they convinced us, and that's why we wanted more help, not only on the tech side, as Armand mentioned, but also on the business side. We would love if somebody could help us on that, because it has a lot of problems, honestly, business.
Absolutely. I think what the young people are expressing here is the startup dilemma. They are developing an ethically driven product to do good, and yet need the funding in order to make it happen and for them to take the risk. So perhaps there are funders out there, like perhaps yourself, Eamon, perhaps in the future, perhaps NHS England or some other funders who would help nudge this forward with the startup funding, the seed funding that these kind of projects need.
Thank you for your responses.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move to the next team now. We were going to have, Eleanor, we were going to have Coders Gang, but they're not.
Yes, we do. No, they are here. They have literally just joined us. So Lana, if you're still here and your internet connection works, so this team is joining us from Syria. And I know they have really struggled from the very beginning of this live stream, but they are now on the call. So Lana, if you can unmute yourself and feel free to share your screen.
Hey, hey, I'm Lana.
Hi, Lana.
Can I tell you that we are going to show you a recorded meeting, because not all of our team member has access on the internet right now. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine, Lana. And then you can respond to any questions that the judging panel might have. All right?
All right, that's fine.
Feel
Just
free
a minute.
to show your screen.
حبيب خلينا يا وين شفت. Just a minute.
It's okay. So you will need to share your screen. It's the green button at the bottom of the screen.
Just a second. 1 second, please.
Okay. So everyone, whilst the team is preparing, we have actually struggled to maintain connection in the past with the teams tuning in from Syria. We've had 15 teenagers joining us on this hackathon in October, and many of them have had this opportunity for the first time because they really do struggle to connect with the rest of the world.
How amazing to have you here. How amazing to have had you as part of this process.
Well, the screen is available right now. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, just a minute. So Jad will show you this pitching.
Secure, come back. Hey, but you're not. Why are you even not now, John? Come on, you okay?
Helena, what we could do is come back to Coders Gang if they
They're still preparing, yes. And let me know in messages, Lana, because I do have your pitch as well. I can share it on YouTube if this is the same pitch, and then we can have you just respond to the questions. So let me know. Let's move on to the next.
Is that okay, guys?
Perhaps, Lana, if you need more time, could we come back to you in after the second pitch? Lana, you're muted. All right, so I can see the team is definitely having issues with Wi-Fi. Okay. Emilios, could we have Brainstream pitching next?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Here, Isabella.
Gang. We'll come back to Coders Gang. Brainstream, are you ready?
Yeah. Could we share our screen?
Yes, you should be able to share your screen, Isabella.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, we are Team 22. Our project is Rehab, which is a home rehab. We think that during the pandemic and the lockdown, the
So hi, we're Brainstream. I'm Isabel.
Brainstream, one moment.
Became unable to afford the treatment.
We've got two going on at the same time.
Yes. Lana, can you hear me?
Hi everyone, we are Team 22 and our project is Rehouse, which is a home rehab. We think that during the pandemic and the lockdown, the problem of addiction raised dramatically, and with the bad economic situation, a lot of addicted people became unable to afford the treatment. Furthermore, some cases of addiction can only be treated by specialists in different countries. Our solution for this serious problem is a website that uses AI system to classify if someone is addicted or not, and if he is addicted, the AI system will identify the types of addiction he has and connects him to an appropriate specialist.
Our survey showed that the majority of Syrian people think that addiction is a serious problem in their society. 60% of the Syrian responders think that it's necessary to enable remote addiction during the COVID-19 pandemic. And 52.7% think that traveling to other parts of the world is an obstacle for them to recover. And this is our product, Rehouse.
In the field of artificial intelligence, we found that the decision tree algorithm is the best among machine learning algorithms in terms of accuracy, where the accuracy was 70%, and the lack of samples was the reasons for our use of machine learning algorithm, not deep learning.
Our project will be funded by humanitarian organizations like UNDP, as they are working on a project about.
All right, Lana, we will get back to you because we couldn't really see the presentation. So in the meantime, let's hear from Brainstream whilst we're sorting out the connection with the team in Syria. Isabella, are you ready to present? And Lana, I will just DM you as well.
Brilliant. Okay, Brainstream.
Can you see our slides?
Yeah,
Yes.
got your slides, Brainstream.
Perfect.
And we'll come back to Coders Gang in a bit. So Brainstream, go ahead.
So hello, we're Brainstream. I'm Isabel. And then we also have Simran, Carl, Taher and Hamari. But sadly, Carl can't make it today, but he was our front-end developer.
There's real need for Brainstream to exist in today's market. As an autistic person myself, I truly understand how difficult it is for your people with autistic social situations. It's emotionally overwhelming. Brainstream solves this. 86% of autistic children participated in our survey said they do not use app now. But the vast majority will choose a future just like ours. Therefore, app is vital. Brainstream provides easy, efficient, and fun tools and activities that autistic children can use as coping mechanisms to comfort our social situations, support for emotional intelligence, improve our social skills, that reduce for stress levels.
They liked and supported our app and received 78 responses in total. Our app includes a variety of tools to help with autism, a chatbot that improves social communication skills, mindfulness, breathing exercises, engaging podcasts, and soothing music to help them calm down, a check-in for reflection and mood tracking, and games to improve emotional awareness and concentration.
You can see our 5 key features here. Let's imagine Tahir has had a bad day at school. He is overwhelmed by homework and is not understanding some of the conversations he is having with his friends, as they are using expressions he is not familiar with, hence creating misunderstanding. Our games feature will reduce the anxiety he feels over homework, chatbot will allow him to practice understanding expressions, and check-in will allow him to journal his progress. Our chatbot uses AI by collecting data like interests, age, strengths, and difficulties in managing autism once users sign up. Using this data, our chatbot adapts a friendly companion that specifically targets those problem areas. Game recommendations also use AI to make games of different complexities depending on the severity of social communication needs.
Our project is ethical. The language is empathetic, literal, and easy to follow, mirroring a real conversation. There are 2 key features of protection. Firstly, to stop addiction, premium parents have emails with graphs displaying their child's screen time. Also, if the child is constantly entering concerningly low rankings for their average, the parents will receive an email displaying this to protect the child from any mental health issues. Additionally, to be more energy efficient and sustainable, there are less background updates, thus less energy used.
So we have 2 great ways of gaining revenue to make sure that our app is still profitable. Firstly, we have a premium option for parents, which includes a progress tracker for the child by email, a wider range of more detailed content that is updated regularly, such as more podcasts, music, or games, and it's freemium. Secondly, partnership revenue schemes, such as working with affiliate networks and offering discounts for cinemas, is a great way for us to get income. We could work with autism support groups, doctors, and schools. Not only will they hopefully be popular users of our app, but they will also spread awareness and recommend us to others. We are unique from our competition. Other apps offer either support for learning or they help to bring a structure in social situations. None of them combine some of these vital features, and we have found no apps that specifically aim to relax autistic children. Only one other app works with parents and children, and we found no other apps that have implemented AI to make sure that the app is the most useful it can be for the user. We provide a variety of tools, including helping autistic children manage in social situations and improving communication and other social skills, rather than restrict autistic children to just one. We also have extra features, such as the check-in and progress tracking, but still for a low cost.
Thank you for listening to us. We are open to any questions.
Thank you, Brainstream. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Right, over to panelists. Panelists, can you put your hand up if you want to ask a question? Panelists are thinking. Peju's coming in there. Peju,
Again, okay, I don't want to hug the panel, but again, very fantastic presentation, guys. I love the logo. The logo is very bright and catchy, so I really like it. I think it's something that you would notice when you saw it. You would want to find out what it's about, so that's great. I think you actually started addressing the question as I was writing it down, right? Because using tech and app to solve problem is fantastic, but I had a concern about losing yourself in the app. How do you ensure that there's a feedback loop to either measure overuse of the app or if there are red flags? And I think one of you started talking about it, so I just wonder if you can just talk a little bit more about how you've built in those safety checks in your app.
Well, we were planning on, especially for the premium parents, that they would have like kind of a screen time overview, particularly also to more specifically show which features the children are using most of. So hopefully that will really like focus that they don't use the app too much if they know that the parents are able to see that. Just also more like in general, I think that it would probably mostly be used maybe shortly for every day for the check-in, but then afterwards for the games, that probably wouldn't be used like daily. That's probably more just like from time to time if they want to calm down.
I think that's a good answer. I've also thought, what about haptic technology when the phone or the device vibrates very subtly? I think that might work well in that particular group as well. So look into that. We were only talking about haptics today. Brilliant. Fatima, your question?
Yeah, fantastic presentation, guys. I really, really loved it. You thought about lots of different things. My question was actually similar to the previous question, just about in terms of children with autism already got social communication deficits. What if they become reliant on this app and actually their social engagement decreases? How are you monitoring how they're going to be engaging socially with people whilst they're using the app? Is there a feature for that to make sure that they're not just becoming reliant on the app and actually becoming more not reclusive but more
engaged
is the word? Yeah.
I mean, we hope that like check-in, it's kind of like teaching them so that like it'll be easier for them in like social situations. So because we want to use AI in there so that it's like almost like everyday conversations, and it would kind of use the AI to also like implement levels. And then maybe when it reaches a specific point and the chatbot thinks that like, oh, okay, you've improved a lot. And I think then they'd be able to kind of use that in everyday conversations. We also did a survey where they said that maybe an extra feature could be that they're like reaching out to different autistic children like around that area. So maybe that would also kind of help with that aspect. They also like practice doing it to real people and in like the actual social situations.
Brilliant, brilliant. Any more thoughts? Any more questions?
Yes, I have a bit of feedback, a couple of bits of feedback. First of all, targeting this in autism, very good. I think this is a really, really productive area to explore. First of all, we know lots of children with autism spend a lot of screen time, and it can be a really good way for them to regulate their emotions. And so I think there's a lot of mileage in this area around autism. I just wanted to come back to the point I made in the previous presentation. I think in some markets and for some individuals and organizations, having a commercial advertising element is not necessarily going to be very attractive. In terms of the commercialization and your revenue streams, I think I appreciate in this general area of technology, advertising and things like that are what you would be encouraged to look at. I think that could be a wrong turn in this area. I think the commercial revenue generation is around selling the app to mental health trusts, to large organizations and governments who then, because they don't necessarily want their users bombarded with adverts, that's potentially counterproductive and also, tangibly counterproductive to their emotional well-being. So I think focusing on the support that it offers, and that's your commercialization, and that's your revenue generation, is around selling the product to commissioners, basically, like myself.
Okay, so you might have a personal pitch coming up to the commissioners. Brilliant. That is fantastic. Any final questions before we move on to the next team?
Alex has got his hand raised. Alex, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, thank you. If I understood correctly, the team mentioned that they would supply reports on activity to parents and carers, and I was wondering whether you'd asked your potential users how they feel about being that closely monitored.
Great question. Isabel?
Well, I think it's like mainly just an option for premium parents. And so that would kind of be like the first step. So the parents would have to pay, which in that sense would probably mean that they'd only do it if they really felt the need that the child needed to be monitored that closely. And then also I think that the fact that they kind of want to learn and they want to kind of improve, and just having like knowing that someone may be tracking their progress might kind of help them get there. But yeah, that's definitely something that we could take on board and maybe add a feature when they're signing up to make sure that they are happy with being monitored so closely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. We've got another couple of questions going on here. What's going on?
So I can see Fatima is making a comment in the comment section. Does anyone else have any additional questions?
Okay, let's move forward then, Eleanor, on to the next team. That's been brilliant. Brainstream, that's fantastic. We've got Hobby 8. Hobby 8, are you ready?
I'm just sharing my screen now. Can you see?
So feel free to get involved in the chat, asking questions. You can ask the panelists questions, or panelists, you can put questions out to the particular teams, particularly when the other team's getting ready. Well done. Right, Hobby 8, are you ready?
Yeah. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our presentation about our app, Hobby 8. So 15% of young adolescents experience mental health issues, but why has this number increased greatly over the past 25 years? A large factor is the internet and social media, which can lead to depression and anxiety, as shown by multiple studies. Also, with the first COVID-19 lockdown, 80% of young people have said that their mental health has deteriorated. But it has also been shown by the NHS that new activities can greatly increase mental well-being, and that is where Hobby 8 comes in.
An app with quick sessions on different hobbies that they can use daily. In the comfort of their own homes, they can learn with our featured content, resources, and course creators. They explore the hobbies, educate themselves, and with the help of our AI chatbot, become more empowered. The name Hobby 8 aims to teach these 8 values: perseverance, determination, creativity, engagement, mindfulness, self-enhancement, courage, and self-belief.
It has different sections for different hobbies, different goals which people can use to progress in every hobby. And it also has an AI chatbot using the IBM Watson framework for now, which has speech-to-text and text-to-speech for increased interaction, and Watson Assistant as the main chatbot. And this helps people interact with the chatbot in different ways.
Our business model has already demonstrated to work, as we have one customer, Louise Auckland from the Oxford Mindfulness Institute, who is happy for us to promote her mindfulness course through Hobby 8 on a pay-per-click basis. Hobby 8 also stands out as it is aimed at 13 to 16-year-olds, and the hobbies provided are all based on the customer's likes and dislikes, which our competitors like Hobify do not do.
There are a few ethical issues that could arise with Hobby 8. As the data will be stored locally and connections will be encrypted, our main focus will be on the accessibility for users who don't have lots of money.
So for the future, we aimed to continue to develop our website, our chatbot, and add new features, possibly creating a new platform for learning, mostly free of charge and available to many more.
Secondly, we will add a mood calendar so our chatbot will be able to approach and interact with the user in the correct way based on their opinion.
And to meet the team, I'm Kritik, the project manager.
I'm Rachel, user experience designer.
I'm Valentino, design and marketing.
I'm Sarah, content writer. This issue was important to us because we are aware that during lockdown, mental health has been greatly affected by everyone. And for the we target teenagers and young people because we want to break the stigma that mental health is bad and that you can't talk about mental health.
Brilliant.
Since the last time we presented to a few of you, we have upgraded our apps slightly. Instead of using the IBM Watson framework, we are now moving on to using the Rasa chatbot, which allows us to have more control over the user's data, making it even more secure and making sure that everything stays offline and not and no essential information is transmitted over unsecure connections. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Right, over to the panelists. Let me see if I can see the panelists. Who's got their hand up first? Rebecca's hand up's going up first. She's got it there. Go for it, Rebecca.
Thank you. I really loved that. I really loved your core values. It was great to see that, you know, as part of your app design. What I'm interested in is how would you market this app? How would you get it to your target market? So I'm interested in hearing your marketing plans around that.
Good question.
So we've got our website set up so people can sort of get a general feel for the app, but we're also looking to try and partner with some influencers or large creators or people in the fields of the hobbies that we're aiming to put on our app, so that people who are already interested in those hobbies can find out through the influencers about our app and hopefully start using Hobby 8.
Great.
Brilliant, brilliant. Alex, is that you jumping in?
Yeah, no, I do have a question. Thank you again for the presentation. I thought it was really, really great and interesting. I was wondering about your rationale. You said that you've sort of focused more on the fact that the internet causes mental health problems. I'm actually not sure about the evidence for that. I think that's perhaps kind of less powerful than working on the basis that actually doing things that people like and taking up new hobbies can really kind of help them, you know, rise above their kind of emotional sort of distress in various ways. And so it's more of a point about how you pitch it than anything else. I really liked it otherwise. Thank you.
Brilliant. One more comment? Peju.
Yeah, so again, fantastic presentation, very clean. So just thinking, because I've got a 16-year-old, okay, and he doesn't like doing much, I'll tell you that for now, okay? So hobbies can be expensive, right? So expensive in terms of costs for buying materials, whatever your hobby is about, or even time. And especially when you are, you know, 15, 16, getting ready for your GCSEs, you're very busy. So the question is, have you taken into consideration hobbies that will be easily accessible to teenagers? And the second angle there is as well, there's a difference between doing something by yourself because you love it, or an opportunity to form a community engagement. So have you thought about hobbies actually bringing groups together for, you know, shared experience and positivity?
Brilliant.
So I can answer the first question by saying that we did actually discuss accessibility when we were first designing the app at the Teens and AI Accelerator back in August. And we tried to solve that problem by giving a wide range of hobbies so that people wouldn't be limited by having to buy expensive equipment like cameras or anything like that. So there are some much easier hobbies to do, such as yoga, or just cooking, etc. For the second question, we honestly didn't consider actually bringing people together using hobbies, but that's definitely something we could look into and make our app a lot more social as an experience.
Thank you. Fantastic.
Brilliant. Okay, right. We now have an interlude. And I'm going to pass you over to Rubens. Rubens, have you got any comments to make about what you've seen so far?
I'm really excited about what I have seen, Emilios. It's amazing. Well done, everyone. Brilliant ideas. I hope that many of them come to life and become a thing. But I would like to check, how is everyone feeling? Like, if you're feeling great, you put your thumbs up, not so great, thumbs down. And if you feel anywhere in between, let me see. Yeah, lots of thumbs up. Fantastic. So let's try to make them go even more up. Beautiful. All right. So one thing we use magic for is for showing how our perception of the world is limited and how many assumptions we make. So we try to make people aware of that so they can then open up to new possibilities. The other way to use magic is like invite people to wonder more, and in the space of wonder, become curious. And curiosity is a great antidote for moments of anxiety and ambiguity, because if you choose curiosity, then you leave anxiety there on the side, right? But there is a third aspect, which is the power of magic to create positive emotions. So look, if you look at my t-shirt now, can everyone see 40%?
Yeah, yes. We can 40%, yeah.
40%, yeah.
40%.
Yeah, it's written 40%, which is not like full energy, right?
No, you need more.
Yeah, I need more. So I thought about first being grateful, because one of the positive emotions that we can cultivate is gratefulness. So thank you, Dr. Emilius, for having Academy here, for inviting me here. But the other thing I would like to cultivate with all of you is a sense of awe. And there is more and more science backing up awe, the sense of awe in terms of improving our well-being. So are we ready for some awe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Venia, can you start and help me and mute yourself, please?
Yeah.
I have here a deck of cards. It's a low vision card, so everyone can see. But I have numbers here from ace representing number 1. I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? Okay. I want you to choose one, because look, I have here a blackboard. Can you see the blackboard behind me? Yeah? Mm-hmm. There is a prediction there, Venia, with 3 numbers. And I'm going to invite you to choose. I mean, first of all, I would like to know what's one strength you have, something you're good at.
Math.
Yeah, math's brilliant. So I brought you numbers, and now you can choose a number. You choose any one of these numbers.
Should I tell you?
Yes, please.
5.
Number 5. So look at that. We're going to bring number 5 here. And Vinny, would you like to put the number 5 here, here, or here? Like to the left?
In the middle.
In the middle, right here. Fantastic. Number 5. Now, Venia, thank you very much for your contribution. Could you name someone else?
Emilios.
Dr. Emilios. Just make sure he's not my accomplice, huh? Dr. Emilios. Could you please choose a number? I mean, actually, one strength you have, could you name?
I'm good at lifting things.
Fantastic. Let's lift the mood of the crowd then by choosing a number, please.
Okay. I need to see them again.
Oh, here.
I can't see it properly, but I'm going to choose number 7.
Number 7. All right. Number 7. Here it goes. And would you like to put here on the right?
Yeah, there. Just where you put it.
Yeah, just here. Fantastic. We have 2 numbers. Now 1 missing. Could you name someone else, Dr. Emilius, please?
I am going to name, let me see the gallery. What young people can I see? I can see Simran.
Simran.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Simran, what's one strength you have?
Maths, yeah.
Again, fantastic. Another number then. Look, what's left?
The A.
The A is for number 1, all right?
Wow.
Okay, so here we go into the collective, because you don't have a choice where to put, because people chose already, but that's how it goes when we bring the collective intelligence. So number 7, number 5, and number 1. Are we ready for the reveal? I wrote them before, so I'm going to bring it closer so everyone can see.
No.
And if you look, it's number 7, number 5, and number 1.
No way.
And
how did he do that?
And if you look closely, look at the mood. It's not more 40%, but it's and full of energy.
He's changed his t-shirt. How did you do that?
With a touch of magic. Thank you, Dr. Emilius. Thank you, everyone. Let's keep this mood because we have
Thank you, Rubens. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Wow.
Thank you so much.
That is digital online magic. That is amazing. So if he can do that, you guys can do anything. Brilliant. Okay, so we are now on to the next team, AI Brains. Zoom trickery, yeah. Brilliant. AI Brains, are you ready? Elena, have we got AI Brains?
Yes, we do have. Neha should be, yes, on the call. Yes, they are ready.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we got it.
For World Mental Health Day, we created an app to advance SDG 3 good health and well-being.
We're a community, a group of teen entrepreneurs and tech developers across the world.
We found that it was quite hard for teenagers to communicate their problems to others and professionals about their mental health illnesses, and they felt isolated and alone with their condition. So our solution is Community, a mobile app where teenagers can find people in similar situations as them and communicate with them in a safe and comfortable situation, as well as resources and medical experts in their respected fields.
We sent out a survey, and from the results, we can see that the majority of people who responded to the survey said that they became more anxious during the pandemic and that they were lonely during the pandemic. There were also responses from people suffering from mental illnesses, saying that they hate speaking about their condition.
So here's our prototype made with Marvel app, which begins with a psychology and background quiz leading to a consent agreement to create an account. Once you create an account, sign in and tell the app how you're feeling. Then the app will use sentiment analysis to analyze your response and give recommendations to help you.
The technology part of Community has two main components. We use AWS Comprehend, one of Amazon's high-level algorithms to do NLP and understand sentiment on teams' responses. It then gives us percentages. We also use a recommendation algorithm written in Python to suggest a friend to teens. The teen who, if given a person, has the highest correlation is chosen as his or her match, and they get to chat with each other. So, Ananya has the highest correlation with Isha. We intend to use a similar recommendation system to recommend resources to teens.
Our data will be protected through a consent form, and the survey results are kept private. We use the differential privacy tactics so that we can use the user's information to give them the best experience through the AI algorithms, but prevent their information from being exposed to others. To keep users safe, all users are required to do a thumbprint recognition or give a school ID.
In our business plan, the school guidance counselors and nurses are the influencers, the parents are the buyers, and the teenagers are the users. We will offer a monthly subscription of 99 cents a month for unlimited access to professional guidance, lifelong friends, and other beneficial mental health exercises. Also, licensing fees would allow us to provide subscriptions to mental health professionals since we are using psychological medical approved practices.
In terms of next steps, we plan to turn our prototype into a reality, and we can use our existing model to implement the code. We also need to create a chatbot that monitors and changes the status of the user. Additionally, we need to begin marketing our platform to advertise our product.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation of Community.
That is fantastic, guys. Okay, brilliant, finished. Okay, let's move swiftly over to the panelists. Guys, questions? Fatima?
Hi, I have a question. So great presentation again. I'm really impressed by the level that we've seen today. My question's about, I'm just not sure if I understood correctly. So is it that you connect teenagers together who've got potentially may have mental health problems so that they can chat to each other, and do you connect them based on the score that they, not the score, but the what your algorithm determines? Is that right?
So there's a survey at the beginning, and then they answer the questions, and those questions are then either run sentimental analysis or are given an answer between 1 through 5. And then based off of that, they're matched based on how similar their answers are.
Okay, just the thing I wanted to ask then is how do you plan to moderate that? Because I know, on the internet, there's lots of forums with, children who are really sick with mental health disorders. The thing that springs to mind was anorexia, and there'd be these forums that would have these almost like echo chambers where they really fueled each other's anorexia, and they became really toxic and actually very unhealthy places for these teenagers. How do you plan on moderating your platform to ensure that it's safe for the kids to use and that they don't actually make themselves more unwell?
Good question.
We could, the chatbot is supposed to monitor how they're doing based off of the resources we give them. So by communicating with the chatbot, we can see if the person that we match them to is a good match and if they're helping them or just causing more negative influence.
Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay, let's move, because we are limited with time. There's no other questions there. Perhaps you can put them in the stream, in the question stream. Well done, AI Brains. On to our next team, Elios.
Yep, I'm ready. So I'm just going to share the screen. And Mohammed Imani, are you both ready too? Yeah. Cool. And I will just present this. And I'm just going to start. Hi. Oh, sorry. Just give me 2 seconds. Sorry, I've got like on the background. Hi, I'm Anisha, project lead and manager of Elios, and together we have created an emotionally supported platform that promotes the mental health of young people. Young people's mental health is a serious public health concern, especially in light of COVID-19. After COVID-19, mental health issues in young people are expected to rise significantly and exacerbate those existing mental health conditions. There is an urgency for Elios to exist in the market, or otherwise we will be failing our young people. Like our persona Hannah, many young people today are looking for the best support resources to tackle their depressive episodes, but they are pushed away from accessing the support they need due to being both overwhelmed by the suffocating amount of mental health resources out there and underwhelmed by the generic and unspecific advice available. Our survey found that 67.5% of youth need support with their mental health, but don't know where to find it. Elios tackles this by aiming to curate and deliver targeted advice and external support designed to help young people manage their emotional well-being needs with a unique personalized dashboard that is tailored to them based on the answers they give to Elios. To deliver a tailored service, we ask our user a series of questions, allowing us to learn about their emotional health using PHQ-9 questions, adverse childhood experiences, and then finally ask the user to input what they believe is personally influencing their emotional health and their own interests. Our dashboard offers general advice to learn about your emotional health and well-being, specific advice based on key emotional influences, self-care advice using interests, and a list of how to manage past trauma, as well as a concise, succinct summary of the answers submitted to Elios.
So how have we done this? Well, we have created a machine learning powered recommendation engine in Python using sklearn that's able to recommend to users advice apps and websites that meet their preferences and well-being needs. We do this by collecting user feedback for each resource we recommend to them before generating a new list of resources from our database that we have predicted they would like. We do this by analyzing keywords and using word vectorization as well as the similarities between users. Each resource also comes with a community rating score calculated by aggregating the opinions given by other users using the emojis. Since completing the accelerator, we have been working on bringing Elios to life by refining our recommendation engine and developing a basic front end to illustrate how we can combine the powerful machine learning capabilities of Python with a user-friendly interface. Moving forward, we hope to advance the capabilities of our platform by using embeddings such as the user's age or region to further personalize both their experience and recommended resources.
So that we are including young people, we shared our prototype with teenagers in the desired age range and then interviewed them about the wording of the questions, the layout, and their general opinion. We got many positive responses and also some helpful constructive criticism that helped us to shape our final prototype in a way that would please the customer. We plan to gain revenue by charging listing and licensing fees to organisations who want their resources to be recommended or who want to integrate our chatbot tool into their online platform. We want to partner with the NHS NCL children's website, the CAMS, so that we can reach a broad audience of young people and develop our product with just experts in the field. Additional routes to market include using social media, producing leaflets for mental health trusts, speaking at schools, newsletters sent by email for those who signed up to Elios, and launching an animation video so that everyone can see.
Consulting with the NHS regularly has allowed us to create a user journey map we are proud of. We have thought long and hard about the information we collect from our users and how we do so to ensure the questions we ask are appropriate, as mental health is a sensitive topic. We have even created new features to individualize users' encounters with Elios.
After speaking to Renee Cummings, AI ethicist and psychologist, key ethical considerations we have made include creating a guest mode where Elios can be used anonymously and a PDF copy of our dashboard can be downloaded without any personal data being saved. In order to ensure users can use Elios safely, we have built our platform with the dangers of resource recommendation in mind by filtering inappropriate and irrelevant resources. We've also spoken with data protection expert Stefano De Bellini, who has advised us on how to comply with a multitude of articles set out in GDPR, as we are collecting special category data. From this, we have made plans to review and minimize the amount of data we collect and carefully put together a terms and conditions and privacy policy that puts the users of Elios puts the user safety and security first.
Thank you for listening to our pitch. We are happy to answer any questions at this point.
Excellent. Well done, Elios. Peju is there with her hands up straight away.
Yes. Again, another fantastic presentation. It looks so professional and sleek. So well done.
Thank you.
I want to hire you guys to do my presentation for me. My presentation nowhere near as good as yours. So fantastic work. I liked your detail and emphasis when you talked about the ethics and user safety, because that's what I was thinking. Now, the area I'm focusing on is the initial information that has to go into the product. He seemed to be asking a lot of questions, and I'm thinking about two things here. One is at the very first stage of entering information, is parent oversight needed to just make sure that that kind of information, the information being entered, is accurate, so that you can make the relevant right recommendation. The second one is from your survey with teenagers. How likely are they to want to fill in all of these questions? Because it also feels, quite time consuming. So I know you've put the effort in to make sure the questions are tailored appropriately and engaging, but who wants to fill in a 15 question thing so how likely are they to actually want to fill in the information and then concern about putting in the right information?
Good point. And that's a question that we're going to think about as well for our product. Thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely. So the way we've tried to do it, so we've tried to make it a bit more interactive, and we have tried to we've already been thinking about, for some people who are actually in maybe a much more poorer mental health state, they might not want to answer all of those questions completely in one go. So one of the new features we were actually creating would be this sort of shortcut feature, if that makes sense, would be a nice way of putting it. So it would actually be a bit more less questions and a focus on actually allowing them to sort of gain that support straight away. So they have everything in the dashboard, but they will also have the option to also receive the full experience of Elios. So this is the full experience of Elios where you would go through all those questions, and we try to make it as sort of because we don't want it to be something like you answer this many questions, it's like loads and loads. What we've tried to do is make it interactive, so like the boxes, the interactiveness, you can even move around, for example, some of those options you have, because that's what we really want. We know as young people we don't want something that just looks like a survey. So we're just hoping with that shortcut idea as well, it will allow us to make sure we're tracking user engagement. That's why we keep asking constantly. We had that whole emphasis on trying to make sure that we're also seeing, are they liking this resource? Is this a bad thing? And that way it really affects really what resources we're suggesting, if that makes sense. But we have already been speaking about as well, you were saying with parents, we actually did speak about that with one of the data protection experts we were put in touch with. We were already speaking about how to get parent consent, which is why we're now thinking about we need to ask age clearly, and that will really affect the complexity of, I guess, some of the questions we all ask, but will also allow us to make sure that, you know, if parents need to be contacted, how can we sort of build that in? So we were really hoping to also speak with other further NHS experts really on that as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, well thought through. Thank you.
Brilliant. Anyone else want to jump in there? And just want to let people know that we've decided to run over a little bit. We've got ArcBot, which is next, and we've got another team. We're going to go back to Coders Gang if we can.
And we have Nebula as well on the call. So just 3 more teams, and the next one ArcBot.
Okay. Was there another question for Ilios? Well, let's move.
Let's move on.
Let's move. Okay, ArcBot.
ArcBot, Peppa, are you ready?
Yeah. Just a sec, I have to screen share.
Yeah, I'm ready as well.
Perfect. Kashif is here as well. Fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, Kashif, can you put the website URL in the chat? Whenever you're ready, Kashif.
All right, it's already in the chat room.
Yeah, I got it in the chat.
Kashif, you're presenting the first slide.
ArcBot, the anxiety resource relief chatbot. Find the best resources to best your anxiety.
Our problem is anxiety. 1 in 13 people globally suffer from anxiety, yet only 1/3 of these people receive adequate treatment. Left untreated, this can lead to depression, insomnia, digestive issues, substance abuse, chronic pain issues, and even early death. Anxiety disorders cost US more than $42 billion a year. Even though anxiety is so prevalent in society, most people who don't experience an anxiety disorder have no idea what it's like, and many people who do suffer from anxiety feel lost and unsure of what to do.
Our solution for confusion for anxiety is to lead people who are confused about anxiety to resources and information to lead them to better comprehend and cope with anxiety. With a quick and simple chat, ArcBot guides users to the best resources for them.
Although 580 million people are estimated to have anxiety, our estimated market size is actually larger than this because it includes anyone who's confused about their mental state. Our site targets and is tailored to anyone who's confused about or would like to know more about anxiety, making all these people potential users of our product.
For our business model, we'll be selling advertising that is targeted to people with anxiety. We are going to attract 0.1% of our 580 million market size, and from each one of these people, we'll make $1 a year in revenue. This comes out to about $500,000 in revenue.
For most chatbots are designed to combat anxiety, are used more like a friend with a never-ending conversation, while other chatbots are just used as subscription therapy apps using actual humans. ArcBot is unique compared to all these chatbots currently on the market because instead of trying to ease anxiety through conversation, it matches users with the best anxiety relief resources for them.
Our marketing strategy and plan is to use viral marketing with help from a mental health organization or charity.
Our impact is helping show good health and well-being for all. Our product helps people understand and properly deal with anxiety.
We carefully considered ethics when developing ArcBot. We make sure people do not see ArcBot as a replacement for professional medical help by explicitly stating this in ArcBot's conversation flow. Giving users complete access to our resources, we also ensure we are not diagnosing people. We also include an anonymity claim so users know their information isn't being stored or used for any other purpose.
For future development, we will be implementing data from more countries than just Canada, America, and the UK, which is all we have now due to the technical complexities of adding several countries to our data. We also want to develop a first responder app for panic attacks in a way that is similar to Good Sam's first emergency responders.
We are looking to connect with someone who is knowledgeable in the company, such as Good Sam, to implement our first responder idea. We will also need a sponsorship or endorsement from a mental health organization or charity. The reason why we need support is due to COVID-19, as anxiety is becoming a health crisis of its own.
Meet our team. We are Hamida, who manages quality control and works on the front end, Jaden, who's project manager and does the back end development, Pepper, who is the lead researcher in front end development, Kashif, who does the business and marketing along with being our tech tools expert.
To contact us, you can email us at archatbot@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
Excellent. Brilliant, guys. Thank you. That international effort is really good to see you again. Fantastic. Panelists. Alex.
Hi, yeah, thank you for the presentation. I think it's really interesting. I really liked the kind of narrow scope and the focus, although obviously your market is enormous as you describe it. I think we all have experiences of anxiety. I certainly do. I was wondering about the ethics. You described how you'd thought about those in some ways, but you also described your revenue model as essentially enabling businesses to target people with anxiety with their advertising, which I kind of have some problems with. How would you ensure that those people who are perhaps in some ways more vulnerable than others are not being exploited in some way by those businesses?
Mm-hmm. Good question. Akbot, Pepper, Kashif.
I think in terms of making sure that people aren't exploited, we will more try to edge it towards more of a focus of trying to help people rather than the revenue side, because the revenue side is a potential. Of course, not every person in the market that we're looking towards is going to use our website. So it won't be a consistent thing of exploitation, because that wasn't our main point of the robot.
Recommending, my answer would be, Kashif, recommending products doesn't necessarily mean they're bad products. And you might even grow your customer base because they like the products that you recommend. So you might have some trusted products that you work with quite closely and align your product with, so that you grow together. That's just my thinking of it. Anyone else? No. Go on.
Another thing we can do for that is we can use tools that are not like medicine, but more tools like I have a generalized anxiety disorder, and I usually like to use fidget tools, which also help with ADHD and ADD. So if you present ads for fidget tools and other things that are helping anxiety physically, those don't really have to exploit people as much as a drug or a other system would.
Absolutely. And you can put those through an ethical framework as well. Excellent. Any other questions?
Just a comment from me. I think as we're going through all of the different teams, there's a theme emerging, right? So getting a balance between building a startup and a business and also delivering for your customers. So that's been very interesting for me. One question for you guys. What is your entry point? So I wasn't really clear if your tool or product will be recommended to teenagers by somebody who has identified that they have anxiety, or people are going to find it themselves. How have you thought about how you would engage with your customer base?
Well, a way we wanted to engage with our customer base was using a social media platform to get it out there. And then also with the sponsorship we wanted from a mental health organization and a charity is a way to get it out there because we sort of have all the resources in one spot.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Wonderful. Artbot, thank you for joining us. We are going back now to Coders Gang. Coders Gang, are you ready? Are they ready, Eleanor?
I think let's go with Nebula first, and then Gang last, because I know Ahana and Nandana have been very patiently waiting also since 5 o'clock. So Ahana and Nandana, if you are on the call still, which I know you are, and let's hear your pitch. Nandana?
Yeah, sorry, I think Ahana's going to screen share.
Yeah, I'm screen sharing. Oh, good. Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can. And I know this is not strictly mental health, but this team worked very hard and they were also supported by Quantum Black to develop this solution for patients waiting.
And this fits very well, Eleanor.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. It's not strictly mental health. It could really be applied to any trust and any hospital. But we know what the struggle will be, and I think the team recognizes the limitations as well. But nonetheless, I wanted you to hear that pitch as well. So, Ahana, whenever you're ready.
Hi, we are Team Nebula with the idea in need, taking the weight out of waiting times.
I'm Nandana.
I'm Ahana.
I'm Victor.
I'm Sherban, and we also worked with a girl that could not make it here, Diana. So what exactly is the problem? Here are some statistics that we found while doing some market research. They show the unbelievable amount of time that patients have to spend inside the waiting room and the number of issues that this causes for both doctors and patients alike. In certain places, 30% of people wait more than 4 hours to be treated. We interviewed a few doctors and patients, and from those interviews, we found out that long waiting time results in backlog and stress for doctors and results in annoyed patients. So we thought, how might we use machine learning to reduce waiting times in hospitals?
We help patients to reduce waiting times by giving allocated time slots and live information on waiting room statuses. We also help doctors and hospitals to avoid backlog by directing patients to the correct waiting rooms, which reduces the amount of congestion. Lastly, we help any users contact the correct helplines by giving them options according to their emergency.
So this is a front-end prototype that we created on Marvel. So you can see the different features that our app would include. You can find the nearest hospital, including the name, the customer rating, and the estimated waiting time. You can also book appointments by clicking on the time slot and entering in all the personal information that the hospital would need. You can also find the emergency phone numbers and can even call them from the app. You can also navigate around the hospital to ensure that patients get to their appointments on time, which would reduce the backlog and stress.
To convert the raw data we get from the hospitals, such as the amount of patients or the amount of doctors, to the data the user gets to see, the waiting times, we use Python as it's one of the most powerful machine learning algorithms. For this conversion, we developed an algorithm that uses linear regression to calculate these waiting times. We also do a lot of data visualization with plotting and graphs to better understand the problem and the solution. We intend to update these algorithms for more exact results.
Whilst ideating the app, we looked into the possible ethical issues and found that as some of our features use a customer's location, there were safety risks that we needed to take into consideration. So when the specific features are selected, permission will be asked to use the person's location. Also, when booking the chosen appointments, personal details are asked for, so any personal information will be received and then all the data collected will be deleted from the application once it's closed. During the Quantum Black workshop, we realized that there were more issues with this system, and that there were many people who won't be using this application and they don't know for sure if when they walk into the hospital they'll be able to get an appointment. Also, for the older generations, we could maybe send out a survey for them, like asking their personal opinions, because us, young teens, we don't probably go to the hospital as many times as they do. Lastly, we didn't get to let people know whether there was like easy disability accesses like slopes, so they might have gone to the hospital without knowing if they could actually enter, but we've added that now.
We also talked about the business model and the marketing strategy. The app has a freemium business model, and the premium version requires a one-time fee to access it. We will also market to funding with means such as the NHS, private hospitals, and companies like Babylon or UNICEF.
So we did some competitor analysis and found Waitlist, an app that handles hospital waiting times, and ZocDoc, an app that handles doctor appointments. We rise above both of these with our unique selling points, like the availability of certain doctors and the indoor floor plan hospitals.
After finishing work on the algorithm, our next step is to gain a wider range of hospitals across the UK in our database. This will ensure that the users have a large number of hospitals to choose from and always receive the most accurate information. Afterwards, we will slowly but surely be going worldwide in order to reach people from all walks of life who are in need of help.
Lastly, we'd like to thank our mentors and everybody else who's helped us along this journey in creating this project.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nebulae. That's fantastic. Panelists.
Great presentation. Really fantastic. It's like a key problem. It's waiting times, and just from first-hand experience, the amount of stress it causes for us as doctors, because you know that people are getting angrier and angrier as they're waiting outside, and it's a real problem, especially when you've got clinics where you're expecting to break bad news to somebody and they've been waiting 4 hours and they're really stressed as well. What's the doctor going to say? So it is a real need, and it's a real problem, and I'm yet to see somebody solve it properly. And I think this is where AI and machine learning can really make a difference to hospital care. I think I just have some, I'm just wondering a little bit about the tech and how you're actually planning on solving this issue, because it's so multifactorial and there's so many things that might be outside of your control. How have you, what are your plans for that? Because is it kind of, are you doing it, is it a patients getting live information about the current hospital waiting times? How are you, what's your plan?
So our intention was we get the data live from hospitals that they have to have anyway, like the number of doctors they have available, the number of patients.
Yeah,
so the season, the sicknesses, things like that.
Okay, because there's lots of things that happen on the day that you can't, that are not necessarily planned for. For example, one case that was booked for 10 minutes takes an hour because lots of issues have come up, sickness absence at the time, and we've not been able to cancel appointments.
Yeah, predictions are definitely difficult here.
The database of the hospital, we thought about this. The database of the hospital will announce us that the appointment took a bit longer and how much, and yes, until it's done, it will announce us. Like the database of the hospital will tell us, somebody from the database will tell us if an appointment that was booked will need to be 30 minutes longer. We need to wait 30 minutes longer.
I'm gonna kind of come in there because I think, Fatima, this is one of the questions that we've had for this team about syncing with the information on terms of waiting times and stuff. And we were wondering whether one of the mentors, perhaps yourself, could offer some time to this team, and perhaps mentors could offer some time to the other teams as well. But in particular, this was a question that we're really stuck on, but we feel it's an amazing product and they've got a lot of passion. And so if we could have some help connecting around that and thinking about that, that would be really great.
Absolutely.
Wicked. Okay.
We have the last team that we would like to show the video of. So we struggled to show Coders Gang. So Harv, if you are ready, why don't we show the pitch? And I don't believe Lana is on the call, but it would be great to hear your feedback, and we can then share this with the team that's based in Syria that have been really busy developing this product, tackling addiction. Harv?
Yep, I'm ready. I will just get it on screen. Just a moment.
Perfect.
Hi everyone, we are Team 20.
Is it working?
Our project is Rehouse, which is a home rehab. We see that during the pandemic and the lockdown, the problem of
Harv, is it
addiction
working,
raised
or are
dramatically,
you
and with the bad
streaming it
economic
live
situation,
straight away on
a lot of addicted
YouTube?
people became
It's working.
unable to afford the treatment. Furthermore,
We're not getting it here, Harv.
some cases of
It's being
addiction can only be
streamed.
treated by specialists in
Yeah,
different
it's being
countries.
streamed. So Harv, it might be helpful
Our
if you could
solution for
add
this serious
the
problem
live
is a
stream.
website
You
that
guys are going to have to
uses
be quiet, so I
AI
can't mute the
system
Zoom.
to classify if someone is addicted or not. And if he is addicted, the AI system will identify the types of addiction he has and connect him to an appropriate specialist.
Our survey showed that 89.1% of Syrian people think that addiction is a serious problem in the society. 60% of the Syrian responders think that it's necessary to enable remote addiction treatment during the COVID-19 pandemic. And 52.7% think that traveling to other parts of the world is an obstacle for them to recover. And this is our product, Rehouse.
Eleanor?
In the field of artificial intelligence, we found that the decision tree algorithm is the best among machine learning algorithms in terms of accuracy, where the accuracy was 70%, and the lack of symbols was the reasons for our use of machine learning algorithm, not deep learning.
Our project will be funded by humanitarian organizations like UNDP, as they're working on a project about mental health in Syria, which is called Fadfada. To help as much people as we can, we'll advertise about our website on social media and on TV, because more and more people are using them during the pandemic. Also, influencers who overcame their addiction will encourage others to use our website. Of course, we should consider ethics in our website, like the data storage of our users' private
I really want to see
information.
this.
So we're
Also
asking
might-
them to provide consent to test out the model created. Actually, we asked Susanna Raj to check our work, and this is her testimonial. Our next step is to connect the emotional trait, Big Five personalities, to predict how likely a person is to get addicted.
And this is our amazing team.
Thank you so much for your help, our amazing mentors, and special thanks to Elena and teams in AI for giving us this great opportunity.
We are back.
Perfect. So I hope you've managed to either click the one of the links, either the live stream or the original link. This is what we really played. And we're back. Amelia, it's over to you.
What are we doing? I'm a bit lost, sorry.
Amelia, whilst you were not watching, everyone else was watching on YouTube or the link. It's because you don't check the messages, but that's okay. I think that was the reason why.
You're telling me to shush politely.
You shush whilst
You
everyone
should have
else.
magicked me away. You should have got Rubens to just get rid of me like that. Okay.
Anyway, so does anyone have any comments for Coders Gang for their addiction app called Rehouse? Oh, Pedro missed it. All right, well, we will let you watch it. There is a link there, so do watch it in your own time because we do need to finish this live stream soon because it's interfering with my son's Iron Man movie time. that Emilius knows all about.
Okay, yeah, we've got to come to an end. We've overrun, and I'm really glad that people have stayed on, so many of you. I'm going to ask Paul, who's gladly offered to spend some more time with us this evening, just to finish up and say a few words. Personally, I want to thank all the panelists who offered their time this evening and their thoughts, and all the young people. Amazing, all of you. And there's a really little one as well with Freddie. All of you, fantastic, amazing, absolutely amazing. And what I'm looking forward to now are the next steps. We're going to chill this weekend. Some of you are going to be working on these still. Take those ideas, take those thoughts. Some of the questions might have been for you. Some of the questions and ideas might have been for other teams, but take those ideas and incorporate them into your products and innovations. And we'd be really delighted to hear from you again and to try and help you move these things forward. It's not easy. We know it's not easy, so we're here to try and help. Okay, Paul, over to you.
Thanks very much, Emilios. So a few things to round things off. What a great evening it's been, and it's been really good to see some presentations or some of the teams that I saw in the summer, see how they've developed their thinking and their ideas and the quality of their applications, and great to see some other new teams. Everybody's been really at a really high standard, both in terms of the quality of their presentations, quality of the thinking and insight, and the progress they've made in turning those ideas into some kind of prototype or model. And I think more than anything else, and was it Rachel who was saying that sort of if people are excited about what they're doing, then that excites you. And I think the enthusiasm and the real desire to do something about creating something that helps peers, I think, has really come through in spades during the course of the evening. Two themes I think that come through quite consistently for us all to think about this field is one, clearly a bit of debate about commercial models and the sense of how do you get the funding flow that can make these things take forward while not in any way compromising or putting pressure on young people in terms of commercial pressure or advertising pressure. I think there are a couple of approaches. Clearly there's some challenges to public funders if people want genuinely clear sort of products that don't have any kind of commercial interest. But I think there are also some reasonable and appropriate models of incorporating advertising or links that can be made to work. So I think some ethical issues to explore there, but also some challenges for public funders. I think the other thing is mental health is an interesting thing. Some of this stuff is very general, is part of who we are as human beings. Some of it's very specific to particular circumstances and situations. I think some of that insight into particular situations you've illustrated really well in terms of some of the products and ideas you've developed, but also how do we get to situations where some of the apps can really be sensitive to local circumstances, local groups, particular communities, and all of that. And some of that is about, again, the thinking. Some of it is also about access to local data that can drive the sensitivity of what you are offering. So I think there's an enormous amount of potential, both in the particular products and ideas that you've put forward this evening, and also in this field more generally. And I hope lots of ongoing conversations will carry on from this and possibilities of taking things forward. I just wanted to round off with some big thank yous. First of all, when Emilios was asked to name his quality, I think enthusiasm has to be the one I would have picked. Thank you for from our side for everything you've done to make tonight possible, for all your enthusiasm and support for backing the teams and making this happen. And thanks to other colleagues like Freddie and others at the TAVI who've also been part of that. Thanks to Eleanor and colleagues at Team AI. Again, your passion for making this happen is really inspiring, and I think there is an enormous amount in this space, and for groups and organisations like yours to make things happen. Thank you so much to our judges. I think they've been really great. Some really powerful insights into some lovely questions, which I hope have helped the teams develop their proposals. But then, thanks to all our guests and friends who've joined us this evening. I hope we have offered something special, and it has to be something special that gets people to give up their normal Friday evening activities. So it's been great to see so many people carry on. But then, absolute big thanks for all the young people who've been doing this. So I wonder whether we can find some sort of virtual way of doing that. So I don't know if we can all wave or all clap things so that people can see us on the screen. Thank you for some brilliant work.
Brilliant.
So I'm going to finish there. Let people get back to their Friday evenings. Let Eleanor's son have his Ironman time. And thanks very much indeed to everybody. And there's some really exciting stuff ahead on all of this. So thank you very much indeed. Good night.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Good night,
Well
everyone.
done, Emilios. Well done, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Really
Thanks,
good.
everyone. Nice to see everyone.
Some of the panelists or the organising adults want to stay on for a quick catch up. That'd be great. But otherwise, good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.